April 30th, coming at you with another one of my news roundups today, and sorry for the video absence for a couple days. I actually filmed one of these yesterday on the 29th, but when I went to upload it, it was going to take me 3 freaking hours. So I wasn't able to upload, I didn't have the time. Nobody got time to upload a freaking video for 3 hours, so don't worry, I'm actually getting a new computer probably within the next week or so, so that means more videos for you guys and less rage for me. Man, some people have road rage, I have computer rage. I grew up in the very last stages of that dial-up internet phase, and man, I just can't stand slow computers. So anyway, I'm excited for a new computer, give you guys more videos, but anyway, let's get into today's news because there's a lot of stuff. I haven't done one of these in a few days, so a lot of little bullet points to cover and go over. And the main concept is basically today, are they freaking toying with us, right? Is the mainstream media just dangling the truth right in front of our faces? And let me explain. You see the first bullet point here. Is the MSM mainstream media seeding our consciousness, or are they basically just playing games with us? Because look at all these bullet points. You go on any mainstream media outlet and the amount of truth they're literally throwing in plain sight is absurd. First, I saw this on Science Alert a couple days ago. The headline of this article was, physicists just came up with a mathematical model for a viable time machine. Wow, because apparently, according to whistleblower testimony, they've had this technology in these secret space projects for decades. So, if you really know what's going on, that's no big whoop-de-whoop, but, of course, to the mainstream public, that's going to be pretty cool. So again, understand what soft disclosure is. They're letting out bits of truth at a time to seed our consciousness, but now what I'm saying is that it's getting to a point where they're putting so much stuff out there that it's like they're toying with us. So not only on Science Alert, time travel model, you look at like any website, you'll find something on Antarctica. All sorts of stories. I saw one on Nat Geo yesterday, Science Alert, even Hollywood. In the new Fast and Furious movie, the main scene of that movie, the main race, takes place on Antarctica. This movie just came out and it grossed higher than Star Wars did, so a lot of people saw that. On Fox News, they literally had an article that stated, let me bring up the headline here, said the wreckage of a mysterious ancient planet is orbiting Mars, astronomers discover. Wow. Because, if you don't know this, let me give you a little bit of background again. Not only according to whistleblower testimony, but even a NASA scientist himself, I forget his name, but he called it the exploding planet hypothesis. There apparently used to be a larger planet, a larger celestial object in our solar system, and so many thousand years ago, whether it was 500,000 or about 1,000,000 years ago by some estimates, this planet exploded, however it exploded, but this is essentially what created the asteroid belt, right? And then Mars was a moon of this planet. This planet goes by many names. Again, you can research the exploding planet hypothesis from that NASA scientist. It's also been called Tiamat, Electra, I think Wikipedia has an article on it called like Phaeton or something. A lot of different names. But it's all the same concept. So this is really interesting because it says the wreckage of a mysterious ancient planet is orbiting Mars. So it's a little bit of truth. It's like, okay, ancient planet, wreckage, orbiting Mars, but it's kind of backwards. Mars used to orbit the planet. So that's a big truth in plain sight right there. A little bit of misinformation mixed in, of course, because, they just want to give us a little bit of the breadcrumbs, but right there, in plain sight. And this one was big as well, okay? Humans found living 130,000 years ago in California, and this was everywhere. This was on all kinds of different outlets. And I just pulled up the one on New York Times right here. I need like a green screen, right? One of these days. I got plans, don't you worry. But it was a bold and fierce article published in the journal Nature. Again, I actually featured the journal Nature in one of these news updates talking about soft disclosure last week, I think. So it's like that journal they're using Nature to push a lot of this stuff out there into the public light. But anyway, that's big. It literally predates all the history that we thought we knew. It's like they literally have to rewrite the history books every year because this stuff keeps coming and surfacing to the public. So it's, crazy. 130,000 years ago. Way before people thought people existed. And then we have NASA again, and this one I didn't film in yesterday's update, so I'm kind of glad I did this again today. A NASA article, or an article that circulated around, says NASA is on the brink of the most profound discovery ever. And it says the U.S. Congress has been told that NASA is on the cusp of the most profound discovery ever, alien life in our solar system or beyond, and this has to do with that moon of Saturn, Enceladus, and almost forgot the name for a second there. It has to do with that. Apparently they've analyzed whatever they found on there and found hydrothermal reactions are happening between water and rock. Big whoop. But interestingly enough, I'm reading this article on the Express right now. It's not found under their weird news section. A lot of times when they like to disclose information like this, they put it under their weird news section so people take it seriously, but they don't really take it seriously. This was on their straight up science page. So again, they're really trying to get people to take this stuff seriously. And seeing all of this kind of frustrates me. Are they freaking toying with us? Because I understand the point of seeding consciousness, but if you're going to put this much truth out there, are they just playing with us or actually trying to get us soft disclosure? I mean, literally. Might as well just do it, man. Fly your secret space program ships over all the cities, right? Just do it. Man, it's getting to a point where seeing all this soft disclosure just gets my panties in a bunch. Next, anyway, past this, I want to move into Donald Trump now. And the little note I put for this one is he better drain the freaking swamp tune. Because I tell you what, looking at all the people on the interwebs, a lot of people are getting frustrated because not much stuff is happening, or big enough stuff is happening. Now, I understand the monster he's trying to deal with is pretty infectious, but again, we need results, because I see people starting to question him, and they're like, okay, 100 days in now, as of tomorrow, I believe. Oh, again, side note, tomorrow's May 1st, May Day, and we all know, I mean, me being near Seattle, May Day is a huge kind of day here because of the protests like 15 or 20 years ago, but the cabal or the deep state or those occultists, they like their occult dates, and May 1st is the end of the season of sacrifice, so they all often have big events that happen on May 1st, and this coincides with Trump's 100 days. So, warning, just throwing a warning out there, there might be some type of false flag tomorrow. Just keep your eyes open for that. Now, anyway, a lot of people are starting to question his connections, right? Because we have his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, his connections to certain globalists. We have this guy, Steve, I believe, Mnuchin. This is his Treasury Secretary, and I saw a little bit of information connecting him to George Soros. So that's weird. And then we all know Donald Trump has been pretty outspoken about supporting Israel. But here's the thing. I understand the old adage, and it's often said, you keep your friends close and enemies closer. That could still very well be a possibility. And also, right, the reason I'm just throwing this out there is because we can't be fanboys and fangirls about him. We have to be discerning at all costs, even if the person that we so hope is in our presidential seat right now is in there to drain the swamp. We got to make sure of that. So I'm just putting these out there to think about, to ruminate on, and be discerning of. But again, kind of along the lines, I still feel what I've been saying about him for weeks is that he is playing a game. He's playing a big old shtick against the neocons, against the globalists and the deep state. And what I think right now he's doing is buying time. So he's, a lot of those 180s he's done the past like week or two, right? Because he's basically flipped every single stance he said. He even was quoted as saying he's a globalist and a nationalist at the same time. I think all of those flips are just to simply buy time, or to get some of his enemies a little closer to him so he can either find information out, not him per se, but like the Alliance or the White Hats. They can find information out, or, you know, get what they need to. So again, it's like 4D chess, as everybody's saying, but I'm not worried that he's turned or some type of bad guy, but be discerning. I think a lot of these words he's saying, he's just putting on a show with, and we have really no idea what's going on behind the scenes. And keep in mind, when looking at everything, it's pretty obvious that he's working for the benefit of humanity. He's still trying to take out the traffickers, the human traffickers. The globalists are still funding their marches against him, right? If he was truly a deep stater, I don't think we would see a lot of the stuff we are actually seeing. What was that march? Oh, the climate march, that's right. And then there was the science march just a week or two ago. So a lot of funding still going against him. If you look at, any corporate media rag like CNN or Washington Post, it's still very blatantly anti-Trump. And then the White House Correspondents' Dinner was yesterday. And it was pretty funny because Trump was nowhere to be seen. And there was actually a small clip that I saw online of a rally he held about 100 miles away from the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night. And he was blatantly calling out Hollywood and all the corporate media fake news. So it was hilarious. Anyway, those are just some thoughts that we need to keep in mind about him. And I got a game plan, right? Donald Trump, if you hear me out on this, if you watch this video, who needs 4D chess? You need 2D chess. All you need to do, 1, arrest the pedos. 2, disclose. Disclose everything. 0 point energy, pff, all the truth. Boom. Game over. Who needs 4D chess when you just do 2 freaking things? You should make me your Secretary of Disclosure, Donald Trump. I'd gladly do it. So, 2D game plan. And then this one, war hawking freaking everywhere. In this point right here, North Korea neutralized, kind of ties into the Donald Trump thing. A lot of people are worried about World War III. Had a couple people message me and text me this morning worried about it. But don't worry, because North Korea, again, they had another missile blow up, another ballistic missile blow up on a launch pad that they tried to send off. So now I'm getting to the point where I think North Korea is a cabal proxy that they're still trying to use because ISIS is being neutralized by Donald Trump and Putin. So now they're trying to use North Korea to start whatever war they can. North Korea is being neutralized. I honestly think that these missiles being shot off were either hacked by some white hats or there was like a directed energy weapon that might have blown them up. But I think there's some behind the scenes stuff going on with North Korea that's neutralizing them. And more war hawking. John freaking Kane. This dude just won't give up. He had an article featured on the Washington Post right here on April 27th, so a couple days ago. But the headline says, "The Balkans are heating up and Washington is nowhere to be seen." Maybe because we're sick of war, you freaking sicko. So he's literally saying that we need to get into another war right on the CIA media rag of all CIA media rags, Washington Post. So it's just, if you understand who is funded by who, again, right, ask yourself, follow the money, and who benefits. It's blatantly obvious John McCain and the, globalists are just trying to foment as much war as they can because, again, I think he's buying time to sweep him up. I think we're going to get a nice big sweep very soon. But again, it must be soon because a lot of people are getting really antsy. And then lastly, this point, Assange and WikiLeaks here. Just a couple things that I saw the past couple days where they were really cool. Ron Paul interviewed Julian Assange, which Ron Paul, the only bumper sticker I've ever had in my car was of his. Love him. And he interviewed Julian Assange, and they were talking about how deeply humiliated the CIA has been from their leaks, which is cool. You can go check it out. Link it down below. And then also WikiLeaks disclosed another set of Vault 7 documents. This one is called Scribbles. They always have these cute names for what they leak, but this one's called Scribbles, or colloquially it's called the Snowden Stopper, because it was a CIA tool to track whistleblowers. They would put an imprint on documents so they could find out where the documents goes if they didn't want them, if they were likely to be stolen and they didn't want them getting out. So it was the embedding of a web beacon tag, precisely. And the CIA tool purportedly relies on Microsoft Office, I didn't know that, I just read that, to track leaked documents. And the whistleblowers that released them. So again, great that they're disclosing stuff, but big freaking surprise. It's kind of obvious that they would have some type of anti-leak something in the CIA. And again, dude, we need some bigger disclosures. We need some stuff to really start ramping up, which I think it will. But again, whoa. I don't know what happened there. But again, we need to talk about these things. We need to be vocal and be... we need to really press these disclosures to come out, because it's really up to us to inform our friends and family about all this stuff so it can come out a whole lot freaking easier. We can get this ball rolling, because I'm getting impatient. You can probably tell in my voice. And I know a lot of people out there are getting frustrated and impatient that we need some higher level names arrested. We need some information disclosed and brought out to humans. And yeah, so, but one last point that I want to make with a lot of these points up here with the seeding consciousness thing. I didn't get to this earlier, but interesting point has been made before, that one reason they put a lot of these stories into the public domain, the elites do, is for a nefarious reason, in the point that if a certain mass arrest scenario were to begin to take place, they could use any one of these stories as a way to, like, blow disclosure out, right? So it would completely distract everybody from an arrest scenario that's occurring. So say they wanted to use Antarctica, right? We see so many different, we saw like markings on the bed, I reported on that in the last video. We're seeing all kinds of different articles in Antarctica. So if they needed an out, they would have it. Kind of understand? Or they could use the ancient wreckage one. Or they could use this one, right? The Saturn's moon shtick. So they're putting all of these out in case they need a card to play. Okay? And so that's one positive you can take from that, in that they're putting all of these different possible outs in the public domain for themselves because they know their time is up soon. And seeing the huge combat of fake news and all of the blatant anti-Trump stuff, I think we're getting very close. But again, I'm still impatient. It needs to be now, or maybe even tomorrow. Boom. That's his 100-day 2D game plan on May 1st. Do all that stuff. Who knows? Be pretty cool if I called it. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's news update. When I get my quicker computer, you'll get a lot more of these. Trust me. And, oh, I got some big news coming soon. Some certain people I'm working with and projects that will be announced soon. So stay tuned for that, guys, and thank you for all of your support. Peace. News, let 'em know the truth.